المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين حجة ابن الحسن روحي وأرواحنا لتراب مقدمه الفداء الذي بيمنه رزق الوراء وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء. شب جمعہ ہے، شب استجابت دعا ہے، شب مغفرت ہے اور شب زیارت ابا عبداللہ الحسین علیہ السلام بھی ہے۔ اسی شب جمعہ میں پہلے ابتدا میں دعا مانگتے ہیں، پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہمارے تمام گناہان کبیرہ اور صغیرہ معاف فرما، ہمیں راہ راست پہ چلنے کی توفیق عنایت فرما۔ پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہمارے والدین کو مغفرت عطا فرما۔ پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہمارے جوانوں کو راہ راست پہ چلنے کی توفیق عنایت فرما۔ پروردگار بحق محمد و آل محمد ہماری دنیا کو، ہماری زندگی کو علوی قرار دے اور ہماری عاقبت کو حسینی قرار دے۔ صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد میں۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ آج کی مجلس کا عنوان، وہ چیز جو میں نے انتخاب کی ہے، وہ ایک گفتگو ہے رسول گرامی اسلام حضرت مصطفیٰ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ وسلم، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد، اور حضرت سلمان کے ساتھ، حضرت سلمان فارسی کے ساتھ رسول گرامی اسلام کی ایک مختصر سی گفتگو ہے، جس میں حضرت سلمان فرماتے ہیں کہ یہ چند ایسے نصیحتیں پیغمبر اکرم نے میرے ساتھ کی ہیں جو میں کبھی زندگی میں بھول نہیں سکتا میں۔ اور یہ اگر اسی کو دیکھا جائے تو اگر ان 7 نصیحتوں کو اگر ہم اپنی زندگی میں لے آئیں تو یہ ہمارے لیے بہترین نصیحت ہے، اور یہ ہم خود بھی دیکھ سکتے ہیں کہ ان نصیحتوں میں ترقی کا راز ہے۔ اصل میں خود حضرت سلمان کہتے ہیں کہ ترقی کا راز ان 7 نصیحتوں میں موجود ہے۔ لہٰذا حضرت سلمان کا جو رتبہ اگر دیکھا جائے اس کے بارے میں کم صحبت ہوتی ہے، کم گفتگو ہوتی ہے، لیکن حضرت سلمان کے بارے میں جب رسول اللہ کی ذات کچھ حدیث بیان کرتی ہیں تو رسول خدا فرماتے ہیں سلمان منا اہل البیت، کہ حضرت سلمان وہ شخصیت ہے جو اہل بیت علیہ السلام کا حصہ ہے۔ یعنی آپ سوچ لیں کہ کوئی ایسا قریبی دوست ہے آپ کا جو آپ کے گھر میں آتا رہتا ہے، جو آپ پہچانتے ہیں، جو پورا خانوادہ ان کو پہچانتے ہیں، اچھے طریقے سے پہچانتے ہیں، اعتماد ہے، اعتبار ہے، مکمل طور پہ اعتبار ہے۔ اہل بیت علیہ السلام کے لیے وہ شخص جو مکمل طور پہ اعتبار رکھنے والا ہے، اعتماد رکھنے والا ہے، حضرت سلمان ہے۔ لہٰذا حضرت سلمان کے بارے میں کہا گیا ہے سلمان من اہل البیت، کہ اہل بیت علیہ السلام کا ایک حصہ حضرت سلمان ہے۔ ائمہ اطہار علیہ السلام، کبھی کبھار آپ احادیث کی کتابوں میں دیکھیں گے کہ حضرت سلمان کے حدیث کو بیان کرتے ہیں، حضرت سلمان نے کہا ہے۔ یعنی آپ سوچ سکتے ہیں کہ غیر معصوم کا مقام کتنا بلند ہو سکتا ہے کہ انسان حضرت سلمان کی طرح ہو سکتا ہے، کہ ائمہ معصومین علیہ السلام خود چھٹے امام، جو خود راوی حدیث ہیں، جو خود مکتب کے رئیس ہیں، کہتے ہیں کہ میں نے سنا ہے رسول اللہ سے جو حضرت سلمان سے منقول کرتے ہیں یا ان سے نقل کرتے ہیں۔ لہٰذا حضرت سلمان کا بہت عظیم درجہ ہے، بلند مرتبہ ہے ان کا اہل بیت علیہ السلام کے درمیان۔ لہٰذا یہ گفتگو جو بیان کرنا چاہ رہا ہوں، یہ حضرت سلمان اور رسول گرامی اسلام کے درمیان یہ گفتگو ہوئی تھی، اور حضرت سلمان کہتے ہیں 7 چیزوں کی نصیحت ہے کہ میں کبھی بھی زندگی میں نے بھلایا نہیں اس کو، اور ہمیشہ کے لیے ان 7 نصیحتوں کو میں نے زندگی میں انتخاب کیا اپنی زندگی میں۔ پہلی نصیحت، جو اس سے پہلے کہ پہلی نصیحت بیان کروں، حدیث کے آغاز میں حضرت سلمان خود کہتے ہیں اوصانی خلیلی، کہ میرے حبیب نے مجھ سے نصیحتیں کی ہیں کچھ۔ یعنی اگر دیکھا جائے تمام ائمہ اطہار علیہ السلام کہتے ہیں قال رسول اللہ، تمام ائمہ اطہار علیہ السلام کہتے ہیں قال النبی، لیکن حضرت سلمان کہتے ہیں اوصانی خلیلی، کہ میرے حبیب نے، میرے محبوب نے میرے ساتھ نصیحت کی ہے. اوصانی خلیلی، اوصانی خلیلی بالسبع، 7 چیزوں کی سفارش کی ہے. ان انظر الی من هو دونی، دنیا کے معاملے میں ان لوگوں کو دیکھے جو مجھ سے کم رکھتے ہیں، ان لوگوں کی طرف نگاہ کریں جن کے پاس کم ہے، جو مستضعفین ہیں، جو مظلوم ہیں، جو فقیر ہیں، جو مشکلات میں گزر رہے ہیں، جو پریشان ہیں، ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں جو آپ سے کم رکھتے ہیں. ولا انظر من هو فوقی، دنیا کے امور میں ان لوگوں کی طرف نگاہ نہ کریں جو آپ سے بالا تر ہیں، ان لوگوں کی طرف نہ دیکھیں جن کے پاس آپ سے زیادہ ہے. اگر ان لوگوں کی طرف دیکھیں گے جن کے پاس آپ سے زیادہ ہے تو آپ کو دنیا کی حسرت محسوس ہوگی صرف. اگر ان لوگوں کی طرف نگاہ کرو گے جو آپ سے کم رکھتے ہیں تو مظلوموں کے فریاد سن لو گے تم. اگر ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں گے جو فقیر ہیں تو جو 4 یا 5 نعمات آپ خود جان سکتے ہیں یا خود پہچان سکتے ہیں اسی کا تم شکر ادا کرو گے. اگر ان 4-5 نعمات کو ہم دیکھ نہیں سکتے، وہ کیونکہ ہم ان لوگوں کو دیکھ رہے ہیں جو ہم سے زیادہ رکھتے ہیں، جن کے پاس زیادہ دولت ہے، جن کے پاس زیادہ شہرت ہے، جس کے پاس زیادہ مقام ہے سوسائٹی میں، معاشرے میں. لہٰذا پہلی نصیحت جو رسول گرامی اسلام حضرت سلمان سے کہتے ہیں، فرماتے ہیں کہ پہلے ان لوگوں کو دیکھو جو دنیا کے معاملے میں آپ سے کم رکھتے ہوں. اگر ان لوگوں کی طرف دیکھو گے کہ جو آپ کے ساتھ زیادہ رکھتے ہوں تو آپ کو دنیا کی حسرت محسوس ہوگی. صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد پہ. اللہم صلی علی محمد. پھر اس کے بعد رسالت مآب نے فرمایا کہ اے حضرت سلمان، اے میرے صحابی، دوسری نصیحت جو بیان کرنا چاہ رہا ہوں یہ ہے انظر الی من فوقی، دین کے معاملے میں ان لوگوں کی طرف دیکھو جو خدا سے سب سے قریب ہے. دنیا کے معاملے میں آپ سے کم دیکھو، دین کے معاملات میں، دین کے امور میں ان لوگوں کو دیکھے جن کے پاس سب سے زیادہ رشتہ ہے خداوند متعال کے ساتھ، جو سب سے قریب ہیں اہل بیت علیہم السلام کے ساتھ. دینی مسائل میں ان لوگوں کو دیکھے جو عبادت گزار ہیں، جو علم رکھتے ہیں. ان لوگوں کی طرف نگاہ کریں جن کے پاس اخلاق ہے، جو اپنے دینی امور پہ پابند ہیں، جو اپنے دین کو رہا نہیں کرتے. ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں اور ان لوگوں کو الگو بنائے اپنی زندگی میں. اگر دیکھا جائے تو ہم اس معاشرے میں رہتے ہیں، انگلینڈ میں، یونائٹڈ کنگڈم میں، ویسٹ میں رہتے ہیں. تو ویسٹ میں آپ کو کہتے ہیں کہ ان لوگوں کی طرف دیکھیں جن کے پاس دنیا کے امور میں آپ سے زیادہ ہے. اگر ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں گے تو آپ ترقی حاصل کریں گے اس ملک میں. بزنس آئیڈیاز ڈھونڈ لیں، کریئر ڈھونڈ لیں، اضافہ جاب اگر ڈھونڈنا ہے وہ بھی ڈھونڈ لیں. کوئی اور آپ کے پاس اگر مورگیج لینی ہے تو ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں جن کے پاس 4-5 مورگیجز ہیں. تو وہ کہتے ہیں نا کہ آپ وہ جو پیپر ٹریل ہے یا سکسیس کا جو ٹریل ہے اس کو فالو کریں آپ ان ممالک میں، تب آپ کامیاب ہوں گے. لیکن اگر اہل بیت علیہ السلام سے پوچھا جائے کہ ترقی کا راز کیا ہے تو رسول گرامی اسلام فرماتے ہیں کہ پہلے ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں جو دنیا کے معاملے میں آپ سے کم رکھتے ہیں، اور دینی معاملے میں ان لوگوں کو دیکھیں جو آپ سے بالا تر ہیں. یعنی اگر دیکھا جائے تو آیت اللہ بہجت رحمۃ اللہ علیہ 60 یا 70 سال کے لیے ان کی کتابوں میں لکھا گیا ہے، ان کی تاریخ میں یا تاریخ نامہ میں لکھا گیا ہے کہ 60 یا 70 سال کے لیے انہوں نے ہر دن زیارت جامعہ کبیرہ بھی پڑھ لیا ہے، اور ہر دن کے لیے انہوں نے زیارت امام معصوم یا زیارت اہل بیت علیہ السلام نجف، کربلا، سامرہ یا قم میں انہوں نے انجام دیا. صلوات پڑھ لیجیے محمد و آل محمد پہ. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل. آیت اللہ بہجت رحمۃ اللہ علیہ بہترین الگو ہیں. خود جب ان کے شاگرد جب ان کو دیکھتے ہیں نماز پڑھتے ہوئے، تضرع کرتے ہوئے نماز کے اندر، تو وہ خود کہتے ہیں کہ یہ ایسی عبادت ہے جو لائق ہے خداوند متعال کے لیے. یہ ایسی عبادت ہے جو ہم اہل بیت علیہ السلام کے ساتھ شباہت دیکھ سکتے ہیں. کیونکہ وہ جب دیکھتے ہیں، الگو بناتے ہیں آیت اللہ بہجت رحمۃ اللہ علیہ کو، تو خود میں ان کے اندر ترقی या बुलंदी की तरफ वो चले जाते हैं। दीनी उमूर में उन लोगों को देखें जो आपसे बालातर हैं, और दुनिया के अमूर में उन लोगों को देखें जो आपसे कम रखते हों। जो लोग दुनिया के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, जो लोग देख रहे हैं कि हमसे ज़्यादा कौन रखते हैं, वो सिर्फ उनके दिल में दुनिया की हसरत रहेगी। और ये हज़रत रसूल गिरामी इस्लाम ये फरमाते हैं कि उन लोगों की तरफ सिर्फ निगाह करें जो दीनी उमूर में आपसे ज़्यादा रखते हैं। ये पहली और दूसरी नसीहत है जो हज़रत सलमान को रसूल गिरामी इस्लाम ने फरमाया था। सलवात पढ़ लीजिए मोहम्मद व आल मोहम्मद पे, अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व। So as we are speaking about the advices of the Holy Prophet of Islam to Hazrat Salman, we mentioned two of them so far, and I'm going to quickly just reiterate that and move on going forward. Number one is to look at those people who have lesser than you, who are less fortunate. When it comes to the affairs of this dunya, do not look at those people who have more than you. Rather, look at those people who are less fortunate than you. Why so? Because if you look at those people as those people who are less fortunate and those people who have lesser than you will be able to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the 5 benefits and the 5 ni'mat that He's provided to you at the end of the day. Because sometimes it can happen that I'm so busy with inside of my life, with inside of this scheme that I'm living in, with inside of the West, in the cycle of wake up and work and then come back home, and I continue my daily routine from week in and week out, and I live from paycheck to paycheck sometimes. I sometimes forget about the ni'mat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with. And I sometimes forget to give shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And in this process of the society that we are living in, dear mu'mineen, mu'minat, we sometimes also get sucked into this vacuum of thinking that we need to go ahead and climb the ladder of success when it comes to finances. Right? That is the only way to survive. If you climb this ladder and go forward, you will be more successful in this society. You'll be living with a lot more freedom. You'll be living with a lot more ease and comfort. This is what the dunya invites you towards. This is what materialism invites you towards. However, the Holy Prophet of Islam, when he wants to give his nasihat and his advice to Hazrat Salman, he says that do not look at those people who are earning more than you. Do not look at those people who have more than you in life. Rather, look at those people who have lesser than you. If you do that and you teach your children this also, then you'll also realize that your children will realize that it is a lot of blessings to have the things that we currently have within inside of our life. Therefore, it is a very beautiful nasiyat of the Holy Prophet to Hazrat Salman, that to look at those people who have less than you. But in the deeni affairs, when it comes to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look at those who are the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For if you look at those people who make them as your role models, you'll realize that slowly you will also start to become inclined towards being that type of person. Read up about a shaheed. Read up about somebody who has given his life for the sake of Islam, who has given his blood for the sake of defending the flag of Imam al-Zaman, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When we read up about their lives, we'll realize that they lived pure lives. They lived lives with a lot of taharat and purity. And they gave their lives for the sake of Islam itself. And we can understand from their character, and we can probably replicate that within inside of our lives, so we can become role models within our own families. At the end of the day, we look at our children and we look at the state of our young generation within inside of the community, right? As soon as there is something happening wrong at home, we automatically give them something so that they can stop complaining, they can stop having disagreements and arguments. We give them a tablet, we give them technology, we take them out somewhere. Some people go to the extent of taking them onto a holiday so this argument can finish, right? These are all temporary fixes. These are all things that will temporarily fix the issue itself. What can fix the issue permanently, on the other hand, is to teach our children how to become content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us within inside of this world. And it only starts with myself. If I am content and I am radhi with the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and what He has provided to me within inside of my life, and I do not look at those people who are earning more than me, and I do not have the hasrat, I do not have the greed that I want to become that person one day, you realize that life will become a lot more easier. Hence why these nasaya, or these advices of the Holy Prophet Salman, they're very beneficial to our lives, right? I'm worrying about my groceries. I'm worrying about, the quality of apples and oranges and the quality of cream that I'm bringing at home while the homes in Gaza are being flattened. My children are worried about the socks and the shoes and the PlayStation, for example, and these different little matters, whilst the children in Gaza do not have bread to eat at home. Right? This is, the dunya, the situation at the current moment right now. Right? So look at those people who are misfortunate. Look at those people who have less than you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with a lot more because you will remember your ni'mat within inside of your life. Number 3, the advice that the Holy Prophet of Islam gave to Hazrat Salman is an asila rahimi wa in kanat mudbira. Maintain the ties of your family even if they have turned their backs against you. Right? We sometimes remain in a stalemate where we do not want to talk to the family member who hasn't called me for the longest time. I do not want to talk to my uncle. I do not want to talk to my cousin because we have fulan grudges, we have fulan problems. The Holy Prophet of Islam, he tells Hazrat Salman that if you want to become successful in life, then maintain the ties of your family members even if they have turned their backs against you. Dear mu'mineen, mu'minat, achievement and success is not in maintaining the relationship with that family member that you see every single day on a regular basis. Maintaining and achieving a relationship with the family member that you have cut off from and inviting them back to Silai Rahmi, or warming or reconciling with your family members, that is an achievement in Islam. That is making an achievement within inside of Islam. Real akhlaq is that, right? If you have a look at, I'll give you an example over here, and this may just, shock the minds of people to what stage our community really is in. There's a young man in Wolverhampton. He was murdered at the age of 31. His janazah was taken place within inside of the community. Many of his family members did not attend his janazah. Imagine this, that a young man at the age of 31, he was murdered in his own house, in his own car, in his own blood. But most of his family members, they could not attend because of the ikhtilafat they have between each other, because of the fights that they're having with each other. Can you imagine this? That you cannot attend the janazah of somebody, or your own family member, your own cousin, your own relative who has lost his life due to somebody else's blade, due to somebody else's weapon. Right? This is the state of our communities. Hence why the Holy Prophet of Islam, he says to Salman that if you want to become successful in life, maintain your family ties, even if they have turned their backs against you, even if they do not want to talk to you. But for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make the niyat that I would like to reconcile with this person, with my family member, for the sake of the Holy Prophet of Islam, for the sake of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Therefore, we mentioned 3 matters. Number 1 is to look at those who are below you in the affairs of the dunya. Number 2, look at those who are ahead of you within inside of the deen. Maintain family ties even if they have turned their backs against you. These are the 3 nasaya, or the 3 advices of the Holy Prophet to Hazrat Salman. Number 4, and final, I would like to mention and end my majlis, inshallah. The Holy Prophet of Islam, he says to Hazrat Salman, وَأَنْ أَقُولُ الْحَقُّ وَإِنْ كَانَ مُرًّا. Although in fact Hazrat Salman himself, he's quoting this hadith. He's saying that the Holy Prophet had told me to say this. وَأَنْ أَقُولُ الْحَقُّ وَإِنْ كَانَ مُرًّا. The Prophet of Islam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he tells us, Salman, to speak the truth even if it is bitter. To speak the truth even if it is meaning that you have to give up something within inside of your life. Even if it means that you have to sacrifice something, stand with the truth and speak the truth, even if it costs you anything. Hence why Mawla Muttaqiyan Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He says in a hadith, قُولُوا الْحَقِّ وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ. That speak the truth even if it means that you have to sacrifice your life. Do not stand for that which is falsehood if it gives you freedom, if it gives you ease, if it gives you relaxation, if it gives you all of the materials of this dunya. However, truth and haqq is that matter which strips you away from all of these matters that I just mentioned over here. Stand with the truth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also stand with you also. Which is why it is said in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِن تَنْصُرُوا اللَّهِ يَنْصُرُكُمْ وَيُثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَكُمْ. That if you stand with the truth and you stand with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also stand with you. وَيُثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَكُمْ. Even if you are waheed, even if you are farid, even if you are alone and they have deserted you, you are still going to be exalted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which is why in the other ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. That those people who claim Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their Lord and they stand by the deen, right? And they resist on this matter. And they are resilient on this. They are alone in this world. They are one person in this world. But they are standing with the truth. تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down angels for their help. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send down the angels of the sky to assist them. Allah takhafu. That do not grieve, do not be saddened. Have a look at an example at that Swedish activist, Greta Thunberg, I believe. That's the correct pronunciation. Right? She's a non-Muslim. Right? She's not a Shia. She's not a Sunni. She's Swedish. She leads a flotilla to Gaza, right? Trying to break the blockade. She doesn't have any weapons. She doesn't have any arms to break that inhumane blockade, right? She's going on the basis of humanitarian purposes, right? She goes twice, right? At the end of the day, she doesn't have the Quran to, take her backing. There's been no Muslim flotilla as of yet, right? But we have somebody like Greta Thunberg who has gone and done that, right? But what happens when she stood for the truth? They detained her, right? They had tortured her. They had beat her. They had exiled her from the area. But she stood for the truth. She stood for that which was haqq. She stood for that which was right. She had courage within inside of her to stand for that which was haqq. Which is why Hazrat Salman had spoke about the advice that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, had told him, that to speak the truth even if it is bitter. Speak the truth even if it means that you have to stand for difficulty. And that's what speaking truth really is. When you stand for that which is haqq, it is not going to be easy to stand on this path. Right? Which is why Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salatu was-salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He says, "An-nasu abidu dunya wa ad-dinu la'aqun ala al-sinatihim." That this religion that many people claim it is just a taste on their taste buds, that when it comes to ease and comfort, they will go ahead and be adherent to the religion and be adherent to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. They'll be loyal to the Imam of the age. But when it comes to difficulty, when it comes to a lot of hardship, at that point you'll realize that the numbers are very few, they are scarce. They will not be loyal to the Imam of the age. All right? We have a look at the examples within side of Karbala itself. I would like to mention one of them. And one of these companions of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, at that time in 61st Hijri, he had deserted the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and he had made friendships with Yazid. However, what had happened that they had got into a disagreement and he had fought with Yazid and he had left from the area of Sham and he sought refuge within side of the southern area of Iraq. He was living in the deserts on a farm. And his name was Abdullah ibn Muti. Right? If you go watch Mukhtar Name, right, you'll be able to recognize this man as bin Muti. Bin Muti, he had lived on the suburbs of Basra, outside on the border of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his caravan had traveled from Iraq into, from Medina, and it traveled towards Iraq. Imam alayhi salam, as he was crossing Basra, Abdullah ibn Muti, he says that I saw the caravan of Imam Hussein alayhi salam approaching. I did not know who it was, but it was a caravan of 100 people. When I went closer, I saw it was Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And I became very surprised. And I asked Imam Hussein alayhi salam, what was the reason that you had left your sanctity in Medina? Why did you leave? And he started to cry. Because at the end of the day, the leaving of Imam Hussein alayhi salam from Medina, it meant a statement. It meant something that very big had happened at that time. Imam alayhi salam had said to him that you have to understand that Yazid has trampled over all of the values of Islam. He has not left anything sanctified within inside of our deen. He has broken all of the pillars one by one. And he is also trying to kill me also. And he's trying to shed my blood within inside of Medina. And he has asked me for his bay'at and his allegiance, and I do not accept this allegiance. Hence why I've left Medina. And then Imam alayhi salam says that, will you help me? Will you assist me? This is Abdullah ibn Muti. He knows Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He knows that he's Sayyid al-Shabab Ahlul Jannah. He knows that he's the son of Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha. He knows that he's the grandson of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. He says to Imam alayhi salam, he says, Abdullah ibn Muti, he says, I have a well that is dried up. I need you to come and make dua for this well. Imam alayhi salam comes off of the horse and he does dua for the well, and the water rises up and it comes out gushing again from the well. Abdullah ibn Muti, he says, Khuda Hafiz, he farewells Imam alayhi salam, and he does not assist Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam. Right. There's another man who had come on the 5th of Muharram to the tents of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Finally, I would like to mention this and end my majlis, inshallah. He had come on the 5th of Muharram to Imam alayhi salam into his camp, and he says to Imam alayhi salam that 23 years ago I was with your father Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And Imam, your father Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, as he was crossing the same place that you are sitting in, he had gotten off his horse and he had taken the khak of this area where you are sitting in, and he started to smell this khak and this dust, and he would cry continuously. He would continue to cry on this earth itself, and he would kiss it and place it on his eyes. This was your father 23 years ago. He had come and done this over here. 23 years later, I am astonished. And I had asked from your father why you are kissing this ground. And your father, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, had told me that the purest men of history will be walking on this earth of Karbala. And the purest blood within inside of the Tariq of Islam will be shed on this plains of Karbala. And this is Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam telling this man. This man, he comes to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, says that 23 years ago this happened. Imam alayhi salam says that now that you've seen that this is a miracle, and I am currently here in Karbala, will you help me? Will you assist me? Will you be loyal to my cause? The man says that, Li awladun sigharun, I have small children. I have my wife who's waiting for me at home. I have my dunya. I have my businesses. How can I help you? How can I leave everything and be assistant to you? Imam alayhi salam says to him to leave Karbala, leave this entire area. If you hear on the day of Ashura my voice when I say Hal min nasirin yansurni, and you do not assist me on that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make sure that you enter into Jahannam with your face first. Imam alayhi salam had told this man this, that you must leave this area of Karbala since you are not willing to assist me. Therefore, we must be the ones who speak the truth, even if it is bitter. We must maintain the ties with our family, even if they have turned up their backs against us. We must look at those people who are misfortunate, those people who are going through difficulty within inside of this world, so that we can remember the ni'mat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided to us, even if we have forgotten. And within inside of the umur of the deen, or the affairs of the deen, we should look at those people who are higher than us. These were the few advices of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, to Hazrat Salman Farsi. At the end, I would like to send my salams to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. As it is the night of the ziyarah of Sayyid al-Shuhada, I would like to do a short tawassul, inshallah, and a short salam to the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Madlum ya Gharib ya Hussein. أيها العطشان المقتول بكربلاء. قال مولانا صاحب الزمان في زيارة ناحية: فلأندبنك صباحا ومساء ولأبكين عليك بدل الدموع. السلام على الشيب الخضيب. السلام على البدن السليم. السلام على الرأس المرفوع. يا أبا عبد الله، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله عبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم